Hello, my name is Matthias Cavodi. I'd like to welcome guys to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the Annihilation Conquest. It's a pretty good crossover. It's during that particular phase of Marvel that we got a bunch of pretty good, it varied from pretty good to really, really awesome crossovers in the cosmic side of the Marvel Universe. It started with the Annihilation and it ended with the Thanos Imperative. This was actually the second one. And running parallel to all these crossovers, you had the Nova series and the Guardians of the Galaxy series, which were freaking solid. So, got the cover here, Phyla-Vell, that during this time she was Quasar. So it's like sort of a fusion between Quasar and Captain Marvel. And if you haven't read the story, it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It revolves around the Phalanx. They've taken over the Kree space, taken over the Kree homeworld, causing disasters all over the place. Someone's behind the Phalanx that, spoiler warnings, I liked it a lot. Some people didn't. It's Ultron. Ultron actually hijacked the Phalanx, take over their hive mind, and he's using it to his own ends. So Ultron and the Phalanx take over the Kree Empire in 2 seconds flat. We have to say that they're still dealing with what had happened during the Annihilation wave when the Annihilation came from the negative zone. And Annihilation's forces actually have a couple of the Kree planets, key Kree planets. There we go. And so here we see the similarly Kree are actually used as fuel to generate a force field around the Kree space with the Babel Spire. That's something typical of the Phalanx, that it's used for something different. Normally the Babel Spire is used to call out to the Technarchy, which is like the father race of the Phalanx. The Phalanx infect a planet with a techno-organic virus, and then the Technarchy arrive and feed off the planet. But here, Ultron is using it to create this force field. We cut to Moondragon and Phyla-Vell. They were sent off to a mission to find someone that's going to help tip the scales of the battle. They discover that someone is actually Adam Warlock, that they've woken up a little too early. He was regenerating after the whole Annihilation wave. He just couldn't deal with the amount of death, and he went into hibernation. So we get a younger Adam Warlock that doesn't want to collaborate too much. He's not too happy. He was pulled out of his sleep when the Phalanx forces arrive trying to capture him. So we get to see this actually the first time. No, I'm not certain. No, this is the second time I got to see Zemnu, the first Hulk of the Marvel Universe. The thing is, what happens is Warlock, Phyla, and Moondragon are able to escape the Phalanx and their attack. Warlock takes them to a secret base built by the High Evolutionary, because Warlock and High Evolutionary have a lot of history. The High Evolutionary is sort of like a father figure to Adam Warlock. And he's an interesting character because sometimes he's a good guy, sometimes he's a bad guy, sometimes he's a benevolent tyrant. But like what really drives this character is like he pursues to see how he can push evolution in any which direction, science, see how he can further his experiments and stuff on genetics and stuff like that. We cut to Ronan, who's with Super Skrull, and this character, I think his name is Wrath, something like that. That he's later on tied to Null and the symbiotes and stuff like that. That's something a lot more modern that I haven't read yet. So they're going to one of the Kree worlds that were taken over by Annihilation's forces. They're going to have to, they want to see if they can get Annihilation's troops to help them fight against the Phalanx, like try to team up with them. So what happens is Warlock, Phyla, Moondragon arrive with High Evolutionary. We get the big reveal that Ultron is the one behind the Phalanx. And basically what a High Evolutionary does is actually, before we get to what High Evolutionary did, here we have the Guardians of the Galaxy, who actually pretty ingeniously use Blastar. Blastar actually gets killed by one of the Phalanx, and his blood is infused with spores from Groot. And since they take his body to the main base, the Babel Spire, and spores are coming out of Blastar all over the place, and with combining forces between Mantis and Groot, they're able to map out the whole place with Groot's spores. And another thing is that Groot has, during this time, he would say "I am Groot" all the time, but he would say short phrases. Like, it wasn't totally established that he could only say "I am Groot" yet. So we cut to High Evolutionary. Basically, High Evolutionary cuts a deal with Ultron, and what he does, he does a pretty dick move. He doesn't want his experiment to be interrupted, but things go south anyways with Ultron. But then he cuts a second deal with Ultron, where Ultron realizes that Adam Warlock is like a perfect specimen of human, and he's artificial. And he wants to use Warlock as a new host body, because the logic of Ultron is that his body's not plagued with the vices of natural selection. He's artificial like he is. And Warlock is insanely powerful. Like, so we're going to get a hyper evolved Ultron. And another cool thing is the timeline with Ultron during this time. Because we discover that this Ultron is the Ultron that was the transgender one that hijacked Tony Stark's armor, Iron Man, during the Mighty Avengers run, and walked around the city naked as Janet Van Dyne, causing all types of pandemonium. After the Avengers defeat him, his mind, his consciousness goes out into space. He's found by the Phalanx. And Ultron, through the will of his mind on his own, he hijacks all of the Phalanx, the hive mind, and they become servants of his. So to just speed things up, Ronan's actually plan is that he knows where there's like 1,000 of these Kree Sentinels. They're going to add some magical fail-safes to the Sentinels, and what he's going to do is just basically burn to the ground everything on the Kree home planet as a mercy kill. He doesn't want his people to be enslaved by the Phalanx. If they can't defeat the Phalanx, they're going to kill everyone with these Sentinels. So it really shows that Ronan is really willing to do something pretty terrible. He's very distraught by the situation, but he doesn't want his people to suffer. And in his mind, the Phalanx are virtually unstoppable. Groot sacrifices himself to destroy the Babel Spire. And also during the story, the dude that was Captain Universe but lost his Captain Universe powers, Gabe, gets killed. But during this time, as I mentioned in another video, Star-Lord's Guardians of the Galaxy is established in their own miniseries. That was a tie-in to this crossover. So Ultron's able to take Warlock's body, and the big ace in the hand that our heroes have actually is Warlock from the New Mutants. He was found by Nova during the Nova series. Makes his big return. I love the design of this character. I think he's so awesome. So I thought it was really cool. He's part of the Technarchy, the species that feed off Phalanx. One moment where Warlock says like the Phalanx are rebellious digestive system. So we get a pretty cool showdown between Warlock and Warlock. And at the end of the show, we get a giant-sized Ultron. This is always a turn-off. I really don't like when they go full-on giants. Every once in a while, I think it's okay. Like with Ultron, it does work. But like when characters join, if they're not Giant Man or Ant-Man or something that within their power sets, it's something I just don't really like. But at the end of the story, obviously, all of our heroes join forces. They defeat Ultron. But this is a pretty entertaining story, especially a lot comes out of it. The Guardians of the Galaxy series is going to spin out of this. We have the return of Warlock. He's going to be both Warlocks. One's going to be in the Guardians. The other one's going to return with the New Mutants. It's a lot of fun here. So hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.